Well, hello, dear viewer. 'Tis Unclejona here again, in the corner of the upstairs room that I do my videos in. And we've got another Belgian beer. Well, I don't know. Is it Belgium? Who knows? It is from the Ferment Belgium magazine. But alas, nothing in this magazine, once again, has anything to do with this beer. Very, very bizarre. Almost as though they planned it that way. Something to think about. I don't think they did, but something to think about. I am very much one for continuous improvement. So, Beer 52, if you're listening, if you are at all interested in continuous improvement, quality, however you want to say it, please get in contact with me, because what you're doing at the moment is, I very much think, suspect, perhaps fooling your customers. I've got so many good ideas. Please let me know and I'll speak to you. I'll let you know. The beer we are doing today is Zeevonk NEIPA. So it's a Belgian NEIPA once again, but this is 5.5% on the ABV. So all of a sudden, it's not an ultra NEIPA or a session NEIPA or some nonsense. This is kind of getting into NEPA territory, and we'll talk about why potentially it is a NEPA and why potentially it isn't a NEPA. Stick with me. That's got to be worth a thumbs up. I'll get that out of the way really early in case you didn't know what I was going to say later on. If you, dear viewer, have stuck with me through thick and thin, you'll know how we roll. If you're new to the channel, why not think about subscribing and all that kind of jazz? You can decide by the end of the video. Here we go. So Zeevonk equals clean beach, and I believe they are on the beach. I think they're opposite us, and by us I'm meaning Essex and Kent is where I live. Zeevonk is a unique Belgian beer, created on the Belgian coast. There we go, that's what I was saying. Brewed with different types of hops and malt. Drink Zeevonk and you support charity. It's a charity beer because part of the turnover goes to the Clean Beach Association. Well, dude, that has got to be worthwhile. So, shaman to you guys. We have got barley, we've got hops, we've got yeast. Apparently, we also have wheat and oats in here. But that is not on the can. That is on my screen that I'm looking at. Imported, brewed and canned for Zeevonk in Belgium, which implies that Zeevonk is not actually brewing this themselves. So we don't know where it was brewed, to be honest. And then imported by Beer 52 to Edinburgh, EH3. And yeah, don't go near pregnant ladies, especially if they're driving petrol-driven cars. Jesus Christ, it could all end in tears. Make sure you recycle, all that kind of jazz. Now, the hops in here, apparently, does it say around here? No, it says proud sponsor of Beach Clean. I think that probably says. Yeah, Beach Clean. And then what does that say? I can't really say. It's some charity beer of doomers. And the whole thing here is the NEPA is about the beach. I love the beach. I live within a mile of 3 different beaches, and they're all sandy ones down here. So, shaman, if you ever come down to Kent, look me up. Come over to the island of Thanet, the island of death, and I will try and kill you by drinking alcohol. How about that? Speaking of alcohol, we're looking at 5.5%. This is an absolute classic new style NEPA inspired beer. I'm not sure if it's true to the original NEPAs, and I'm thinking the Alchemist here over in Vermont. I've actually drunk Heady Topper. I was had the pleasure, should I say, of having one of my friends bring it over from America when he came to visit. He lives in Norway, actually. So, Tony, if you're watching this, shalom to you, brother. But yeah, this is a classic beer with Citra, Cascade, and Mosaic. So Cascade, very much old school, very much West Coast, to be honest. Cascade's not usually in NEIPA beers. Citra, definitely. It's the most commonly grown hop in the whole world. And believe it or not, Mosaic is second, and I think Cascade is third. So these are the three most common hops in the whole damn world. This is a common beer, basically. Not a Californian common, it's a Belgium common. Crazy. And yes, with 6 minutes in, I have already had a few beers. I've only had 4 beers, 5 beers today. No, it is 5. Oh my God, because I have visited the Spoons. Not my local Spoons, because that's closed at the moment, but my second local Spoons. And my God, they are, apart from not being able to pour a beer properly and giving me king head, very, very good. And it's Spoons Wednesdays, where you can get a pint of beer for £1.80. Well, that's what they were charging me. So maybe if you're not me, you get it even cheaper. Who knows? Unfortunately, we got a few watermarks on my glass. The water in this area is quite hard, and it always leaves a sort of chalky kind of thing on the beer. But they're kind of tulip glass, so that's kind of Belgium, isn't it? Let us get this bad boy into a glass, and then we shall discuss, dear viewer. We shall discuss. Oh, I saw a bit of a depth charge of stuff into my glass, which is never a good thing. Or maybe it is. Depends if you like stuff in your glass. Let's leave it at that. And there we go. There is the thumbnail for this video. We have got, I would say that's about a finger, perhaps just under. And if we zoom in, if it concentrates, it's reasonably bubbly, but not too bad. We have got an effervescence, dear viewer, but not superbly effervescent. Not a gusher, you know what I mean. Sometimes I like a gusher, but depends on the day of the week, if you know what I'm saying. I'm more of a weekend gusher man. We're still just about in the week. Yeah, I've shaken it, but still a finger's head. And look at that. Absolutely gorgeous, very small, lovely head. I am imagining, because of the oats and the wheat in there, that is going to stick around. Wow, that's nice. We've got a lovely balance. I'd say Mosaic is probably up front because you've got that tropical kind of nuts there, but it's a tropical cream. It's like Kahlua, and I'm African. Part of me is African, so I love that kind of creamy, fruity stuff that you get with Kahlua. And Amarillo, what is it? Amarillo? Not Amarillo. Amarulo. Jesus Christ, the one with the elephant on the front. Oh, I'm also getting cream sweetness. So I think this is going to be reasonably sweet beer, even though it's 5.5%, which is not too bad. I always used to say 5% was my kind of my dipstick. Am I admitting that I've got a dipstick? Well, I have, dear viewer. My mark in the sand, my line in the sand between the sand and the tundra, those tufty weird things at the side of the sand, is 5% ABV. Not 100% sure I agree with that these days, but IPA wise, If it's under 5%, I really struggle in calling something an IPA, whether it's an old school like a West Coast style, or even an IPA from the good old country. We're talking about the ones we used to send to India. Um, but yeah, any less than that, it's not really an IPA in my book. This is my personal opinion. But this one's 5.5. If you live in America, I'm sure you might say IPAs don't start till 6%. But then your pint glasses are smaller than ours, so you don't drink as much as us. You think you do, but you don't. Have a look at American pints versus imperial pints, and you will discover that we drink a lot more than you guys do. Don't know if I do anymore, but I usually drink smaller ones, halves, and that's a bit over a half, but it means you can drink more glasses, and I'm sticking to that. Cheers and beers, guys. Let's dive in. Like I said before, if you haven't clicked like already, do it now. Do it. I'm not going to drink this beer until you click like. So do it now. Oh, go on. I'll drink it. Cheers and beers, guys. Bottoms up. Okay, interesting. So, what I was getting on the nose, I think, was Mosaic first, then Cascade. Citra, I wasn't getting so much, but my taste buds are telling me Citra up front, green, gnarly, hoppage, quite bitter. That's the initial taste, and then it descends into creaminess, and that's where the tropical fruits come in. Wow, really, really cool. Is this a NEIPA beer in the traditional sense? No, not at all. It's a new style beer. Of course it is. Um, Not very strong at 5.5. I know. I said all that nonsense about it has to be over 5. But yeah, NEIPA beers traditionally are very hoppy. Ooh, pardon me. It has got quite a lot of carbonation. Um, yes, this is definitely hoppy, but in a new school way. It's not got a high IBU count. I'm sure there are quite a lot of hops in there, but the bittering itself is not that good. It's quite soft, and I never like to admit that I like a soft beer. Um, but in this case, it's not too bad. NEIPA, I would say, has to have a higher level of bitterness for me. Not super bitter, but a lot higher than this. This is way, I mean, this is just a hoppy pale ale in my estimation. Sorry, those of you from Belgium, but people in Belgium are used to drinking strong beers. So why is this only 5.5? That makes no sense. This was 6.5, and it had a little bit more bitterness in, and it was still smooth. Nice. But 5.5, ridiculous. I very much suspect, like a few of the beers from this Belgian box, Belgian beers that are being imported to Britain are at a different strength to the ones that you can buy in Belgium. And that says a lot about us being someone that lives in the UK. Being a home brewer, if I was to try and make a beer like this, if I was doing a NEIPA, I would be looking at least 6.5%, maybe 7% on the ABV. Nuts. And I was at the supermarket today. I know I'm waxing lyrical, sorry, dear viewer, but I tend to do that, especially when I've had a beer or two. And I've had 5, I think. This is my 6th beer today. If you go to Tesco's, no, sorry, not Tesco's. I usually go there. It was Sainsbury's I went to. They're doing a special deal on Duval. and it's only the small ones, the 330 beers, but you can buy an 8.5% beer for £2. Absolutely mind blown. So get yourself over to Sainsbury's. Let's drink this, and then you guys can get on your way. Wow, that's nice. So it is the Citra up front, green, perhaps a little bit of the Cascade too. Fruitiness. Then it descends into a creamy kind of mosaicy tropicalness, which kind of hangs around. All three of them do hang around. Um, yeah, I would say it's sweet over bitter, which for a NEIPA, for me, that's a problem because it should be a little bit more bitter. But I do understand that that's the new school style, but not a bad beer at all. The weird thing is, right, if Belgian brewers can brew beers like this, why aren't we brewing them? Whoa, there we go. Lovely, lovely lacing. Wow, look at that. There's a stag's head there. That looks like the logo from Jägermeister. A few little flying things in the background there. Anything else? Oh, there's some sort of pterodactyl type thing over there. And then a really nice line of foam running down from where I was actually drinking from, which I really like. There we go. There is Uncle John's drinking and waxing lyrical of Zeevonk NEIPA of 5.5%. I wish I had a bigger can of that, to be honest. That was really nice. Yeah, I'm discovering that Belgium can do American New England styles really well, especially in the new style. Are they as good as things like Heady Topper from Vermont? It's a different days, different kind of thing altogether. Very, very bizarre. Anyway, this has been your loving Uncle Jonah drinking beers for your entertainment, and I'm only doing it for your entertainment. So please show me some love. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a subscription. Please subscribe to the channel. It does help me out if you do so. Leave me a comment down below. All that kind of jazz. And remember, I'll be back with another beer review, and that's coming up real soon.